Aunt has never talked about what happened to her, not once in the years since, but my grandmother told me, quietly, after a few glasses of wine at Christmas, and I've never been able to shake it. This was about 5 years ago. My aunt drove down to visit my grandmother in Harlan County, Kentucky. Small place, the kind of town where everybody knows everybody's property line and nobody locks their doors. To get from the main road to my grandmother's house, you could go the long way around, 20 minutes by car. Or you could cut straight through Hillcrest Cemetery. It was the middle of the afternoon, clear sky. My aunt had done the walk a dozen times growing up. She didn't think twice about it. She was maybe halfway through the cemetery, past the older stones, heading toward the iron gate on the far side, when she heard someone call her name. She stopped. She turned around. Standing about 30 feet back was an old woman, small, hunched slightly. She was wearing a red cardigan. My aunt remembered that specifically, the red and a dark headscarf and a long black skirt that brushed the grass. She looked like she could have been anyone's grandmother. The woman raised one hand in a small wave and smiled. "Mind if I walk with you, honey?" My aunt said sure, why not? She wasn't the type to be rude. They fell into step together, moving toward the gate, and the old woman started talking. Easy, warm conversation. Asked about my aunt's drive down, asked about the family. Then she asked, "Who you coming to see, sweetheart?" My aunt said she was visiting her mother, said she'd come down to sign some paperwork. Her mother had been talking about putting the house in her name. BG3. The old woman was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Why do you need a house, dear?" My aunt laughed a little, confused. "What do you mean?" The old woman looked at her, and my aunt said her eyes were very still, very calm, the way a person's eyes look when they already know the end of a story. And she said, "You're going to die on the Feast of the Intercession." My aunt froze. She turned to look at the woman. There was no one there, not walking away, not behind a headstone, not anywhere. The cemetery was empty in every direction. The red cardigan was gone. The black skirt was gone. The old woman had simply stopped existing between one breath and the next. My aunt ran the rest of the way. She didn't stop until she was inside my grandmother's house, with the door shut behind her. She was shaking so badly she couldn't speak for a few minutes. When she finally got the words out, she described the woman. The red sweater, the dark headscarf, the black skirt, the way she just vanished. And my grandmother went white. She knew who it was. There was an old woman in town, had lived 3 houses down her whole life, who'd been found in her barn the week before. She'd hanged herself. Nobody knew exactly why. She'd been buried 2 days ago. My aunt had walked through a cemetery with a woman who was already in the ground. The Feast of the Intercession. The Orthodox calendar puts it in early October. My grandmother's family had kept that tradition for generations. My aunt knew what date it meant. She didn't make it. She died on October 14th. Sudden cardiac event. She was 53 years old and had no history of heart problems. My grandmother told me she hasn't walked through that cemetery since. Not once, not even in daylight. And she said this quietly, staring at her wine glass, that the worst part wasn't the prediction. The worst part was how kind the old woman's voice had been. Like she was sorry. Like she just wanted my aunt to know.